Yeah, welcome back. So, in today's lecture, the first thing that I want to show is epigraph of a convex function over a convex set C is a convex set. So, and vice versa. By vice versa, what I mean is that if the epigraph of a function f over a set C is convex, then the function is convex. So this is a basically an if and only if result if and only if result that we are trying to prove, which is that f is convex. By this I automatically mean over convex set C implies that its epigraph is convex set. Its epigraph is convex set, and if it is given to you, this if f is if f, if f is a convex function over a convex set, then what we are showing, we will be able to show that its epigraph is a convex set. Alternately, what we are saying is that if epigraph if if epigraph of function f over set C is convex, then function f is convex over C. So this is what we are, this is the if and only if kind of a result. So first of all, I need to understand what is a epigraph. All of us know that graph, what is a graph? For example, if I plot x square, then this is the graph of x square. F of x is equal to x square. This I am plotting f of x here and x here. Is it not? What is graph? So basically, for a univariate function, it is for a univariate function, it is uh, it is a subset of R square, and what does it have? It have all these two tuples of the form fx, right? So similarly, for a function f from Rn to R, its graph is a subset of Rn plus 1 dimension more, Rn plus 1, that is set of all tuples x fx. This x here is a vector of n dimension. That is to say that uh, it is of uh, it is a x1 x2 to xn, and then whatever is the value of that function at that. So set of all such valid n tuples constitute the graph of the function, and hence it becomes a subset of Rn plus 1. So now using this, I can now define a epigraph of a function. I can now define One minute, let me rub this. Is it not whole? I don't know what's the problem with that. Let me add one more page. I think for the time being, I'll just. Okay. So, so now, if you look at this graph of x fx that I have plotted here, you can see that it separates it into two areas, r square. One area is this whole of this area, and the other area is essentially this the side of it. So this area on the upper side, okay, this area I call it as epigraph, and this area we call it as hypograph. Okay, so for example, let's say that I have a function which looks like this. Okay, now all this here, this side of this, I'm going to call this as epigraph of f for this function f, and everything that is on this side, I'm sorry, and everything which is on this side, the lower side, I'm going to call it as hypograph of f. I'm going to call it as hypograph of it. So what I mean to say is that the graph of f, okay, graph of f divides the Rn plus 1 space into two parts. One part is x comma xy tuple such that y is greater than or equal to f of x. See, this is f of x. See, take this as x. This is f of x, f of x, and now I am saying y is greater than or equal to f of x. So from this point, boundary point, everything upwards. Okay. So that this is what I call it as, divides it into two. The graph of f divides Rn plus 1 into two spaces. One side is x y tuple such that y is greater than or equal to fx. It is called as epigraph of f. Okay. Similarly, the other part is y less than or equal to f of x. So all this subspace of Rn plus 1 of this type is called sub, subset of Rn plus 1 is called hypograph. See, hypo means less. Like for example, uh, when you are talking of in this COVID kind of a scenario, you say oxygen is deprived. We say that's a hypo condition. Less, if it falls below a certain percentage, one should go and see the doctor. That is a hypoxemia, or is what we say. Hypo means lower, epi means higher. So a graph divides Rn plus 1 into two spaces. One is the epigraph and other is the hypograph. Now, the nice geometry about the convex functions is that epigraph of a convex function over set C is a convex set. So if you look at, for example, our standard guinea pig for convex functions is x square function. So we draw the x square function, and now we look at its epigraph, right? This whole thing is its epigraph, and you can easily from the geometrical look of it itself, you can see that this is a convex set. This is x square function, a convex function, and its epigraph is a convex set. Similarly, if I take a concave function, okay, like let me take the log of x, then which is the which set is convex here? Hypograph is convex or epigraph is convex? It is the hypograph here, this shaded part, which is very clearly a convex set, and log of x is a y concave function. Recall what is a convex set? If I take any 2 points in this set and draw a line segment, then the complete line segment should belong to the set, which is what is happening here. Similarly, here with the hypograph, the lower part is the hypograph, and you can see that if I take any line 2 points in this set and draw connect a line segment, the complete line segment is inside the hypograph itself, and therefore hypograph becomes here a convex set. So this is the hypograph of f, which is a convex set for a concave function, and this is the epigraph of f, which is a convex set for the convex function. So this is in fact my first result that I am trying to show, this geometry. We are going to prove this now, that epigraph of a convex function over a convex set is itself a convex set, and vice versa. By vice versa, what we mean to say is that if the epigraph is convex, then we can say that the function is also convex. So I think we are now ready to prove this result. We have understood the implication of it, and the main power of this theorem is that you can just draw I mean, for especially univariate kind of functions or even two-dimensional functions, you can just draw them and see whether they are convex functions or not. So, so the proof proceeds as follows. Two parts to it. For part one is, let let f be a convex function over a convex set C. Then to prove that its epigraph of f is a convex set. And what is the part 2? Given that epigraph of f, which is a subset of Rn plus 1, is a convex set, to prove that f is convex function. Okay. So these are the two things that we have to prove. So let's start with the part one. Given that f is a convex function over convex set C. Okay. Now let me take 2 points from the epigraph. So I take arbitrary 2 points from the epigraph. First point is x1, y1. Then y1 has to be greater than or equal to f of x of 1. And x1 of course has to come from the set C. And y1 is a point on epigraph provided. Now this point, this x1, y1 is a point on the epigraph provided y1 is greater than or equal to f of x of 1. Similarly, I take uh, I take another point x2, y2 in the epigraph, which implies that this is from, I'm sorry, this is from epi of this is from epi of f, which implies this. Similarly, now I am taking the second point from epi of f, which implies that uh, x2 has to come from C and y2 has to be greater than or equal to f of x of 2. Okay. Now, what do I need to show? To show that the convex combination of this belongs to epigraph of f is to equivalently prove that lambda y1 plus 1 minus lambda y2 should be greater than or equal to f of lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2. This is what I need to show, because in the x in the Rn plus 1 space at lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2, this anyway belongs to the set C, no problem with that. Now this is the value that the function takes there, the convex function takes there. The linearly interpolated point from the 2 points in the epigraph, this the first point and the second point, its first n coordinates are given by lambda x1 uh, lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2, and they belong to convex set. So therefore therefore this part of, there is nothing really to prove in the first n points here. They belong to the convex set C. So therefore this first part of the epigraph was that x should come from C. So the x is indeed linear. In the linear interpolation, the x is anyway automatically, by the definition of the convex set, it is coming from C. Now what we need to show is that corresponding linear interpolation of the y coordinates here, the Rn plus 1th coordinate here, should be greater than or equal to this particular, the function value there. If that happens, then it is indeed then it is indeed belonging to the convex set. Then it is indeed, this is higher than the function value. This is higher than the function value there, and then it means it belongs to epigraph. So now let us look at lambda. What is lambda y1 plus 1 minus lambda y2? So this is great. See, y1 is greater than or equal to, I'm sorry, y1 is greater than or equal to f of x of 1, y2 is greater than or equal to f of x of 2. and lambda and 1 minus lambda, both lambda and 1 minus lambda both being positive between 0 and 1. When I add them together, and this, so effectively I multiply this one by lambda on both sides, I multiply this one by 1 minus lambda on both sides. The sign of the inequalities don't change because I have used positive multiplier scaling on both the sides, and then I just add them together. So what do I get? I can now do the addition as this is greater than or equal to lambda of fx1 plus 1 minus lambda of fx2. Why did this happen? Again, just to repeating, at the cost of nth repetition, this is lambda being greater than 0, I can do this. 1 minus lambda being greater than 0, I can do this without changing the sign of these inequalities. And then I just add this inequality and this inequality, and then this is what I get. But then by definition of convex function, by definition of the convex function, f of lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2 is always less than or equal to this, or in other words, by definition of convex function, the linearly interpolated value has to be greater than or equal to the function value. So wherefore we have shown that the nth plus 1 coordinate also satisfies the requirement of the epigraph, and the first n points were anyway satisfying trivially the requirement of the epigraph. Therefore, epigraph f of a convex function is a convex set. Good. So we are done with one part of it. Now let's do the let's do the other way around. What is the other way around that we have to prove? Given that epigraph of f is a convex set, to prove that f is a convex function. So I take 2 points x1 y1 from epigraph of f arbitrarily. I take another point arbitrarily from the epigraph of f. Now I do a linear interpolation of them, and this belongs to epigraph of f because it is given to us that epi of f is a convex set. What it means is it belongs to epigraph of f. Essentially means, what it means is that lambda y1 plus 1 minus lambda y2 is greater than or equal to f of lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2. This is what it means when we say that epigraph is a convex set. Then the definition of epigraph is essentially that the nth plus 1 coordinate should be greater than the or equal to the function value there. So therefore, if this is a convex set, the interpolation creates this as the nth coordinate, n plus 1 coordinate, and this is the corresponding function value here. So the n plus 1 coordinate should be greater than or equal to the corresponding function value. Now, this does not automatically say that f is convex. But this is true for all valid y's, right, from the epigraph, or and all valid y's from the epigraph. For example, if you look at this here, I choose a x1 here. I have all of this as valid y1s, is it not? This is f of x of 1, this is f of x of 1, and then all these points are valid y1s here. Suppose I choose x2 here, then all this choice here greater than f of x of 2 is the valid choice of for y2. So to prove convexity, I just need to take a specific choice that y1 is equal to f of x of 1 and y2 is equal to f of x of 2, which is that boundary point here. If I choose y1 any lower than this, it will not be a part of epigraph. If I choose anything higher, it is fine. So I am just choosing the boundary point y1 equal to f of x of 1, y2 is equal to f of x of 2. Then what does this inequality say now? It says this is still valid for these points. So it says that y1 plus f of lambda f of x of 1 plus 1 minus lambda f of x of 2 is greater than or equal to f of lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2. But what if this is valid? What it means? It implies that f is convex, right? and and because, mind you this, I should say this very clearly, because I have said that epigraph is a convex set, lambda x1 plus 1 minus lambda x2 anyway has to belong to C. Otherwise it will that has to happen, belongs to C trivially, because P of f is convex set. So this happens trivially. Y1 and the Y1 and the Y1 and X1 I am choosing carefully to the boundary subpoints, and then f becomes a convex function over the convex set, and this proves the if and only if inequality. So let's take a break here.